Welcome to this call that Race for Fitness is doing. We are actually so excited to offer this call to the public, as it's something that our team kind of does in private, but it's not something that we necessarily have made a call where we've shared publicly about how our lives have been transformed from this one decision. So my name is Rhonda Race. I created Race for Fitness. You guys, this is insane. It'll be 10 years ago in August. I thought about that last night. I was like, how has it been 10 years coming up this fall? And so many of us follow our transformations and how we feel and the energy we have. We've lost 60 pounds and, we've got more energy and, our kids are joining us, but you don't really get to hear or see the transformations behind all of that. And our team, we always talk about how that's one of the things that is how do you put that on writing? And it is honestly so challenging because so much happens behind the scenes. So just a brief, I don't want to take up a lot of time of myself, sharing my story. But when I first became Beachbody coach, for anybody that doesn't know, I was bankrupt and broke. And when I say bankrupt and broke, literally sold furniture out of my driveway to pay for a moving truck. I got a second job to pay for Christmas presents to go under the Christmas tree. Bankrupt, but then also was 6 figures in debt because our business had went under. We also had taxes with that business. So we had to pay 6 figures for that. So when I first became a coach and people tell me they, can't afford to buy the workouts or drink the shake at $4 a day, I do shake my head because that moment changed my life. And you guys are going to hear tonight how that moment of $4 a day provided financial freedom to our team, but also emotional. And honestly, one of the ladies, I don't know that she'll be on, but one of her hugest transformations is she no longer wants to kill herself. And I always how do you even say that out loud without it just hitting you to the core? And those are the things we want to talk about today. Is that one decision brought me to all of these ladies, that one decision to share my journey and just hope to maybe, reach one person. And when I first started, I didn't have social media, but yet I had actually just got Instagram, but I did have Facebook because when I moved away after losing everything, I created it so my family could follow me. And that's how I found all these ladies. But we have all been trained and taught how to share our story, how to reach others that feel just like us. And so the things you see us do, we want you to know that it's not something we're just good at. It's something that we're surrounded around other women that want the same thing. They want more in life. They want to share their journey. They want to inspire others. And in turn, their complete soul and lives are changed. So I'm going to go ahead and stop talking, as honestly, I'm so inspired to be able to have these ladies share their story. And just before we get started, just as the disclaimer is Beachbody does not guarantee any level of success. Success is based off the individual and your hard work and your effort. And every single one of these women have busted their butt. And I will say, I would love for each of you guys to share when you talk. I think most of my coaches have other jobs. They have careers they love. And they did this as a side hustle. And you're going to be able to hear what that did for them. So why don't I start with the top row? I don't know if Dawn, if you want to share, or Carol, whoever wants to go first, I'll give you the platform. I'm excited.
Okay, I guess I'll start. I joined Beachbody and this community almost 2 years ago. Coaching really started off really slow for me, but I do it mostly because of I needed a purpose in my life. My kids had grown up, they had moved on, they don't need mom anymore, and I just didn't feel like I had a purpose anymore. So that is my main reason. Lately, I've just been losing so many loved ones, and it's not necessary. If they would just get healthy and fit, and take care of themselves, then I wouldn't be losing them left and right. So it has become my mission to get people fit and healthy and to enjoy the process because it's amazing. Before I started this, I was not healthy at all. And this has literally saved my life. So I'm trying to pay it forward. And I do try to get my shakes paid for every single month with the money that I do have coming in. So it makes it all worth it for me if I can just help one person.
Yeah. Dawn, I love what you shared. I don't know, any of you guys can talk in the chat. I don't know if anybody's on. Go ahead and type in if you want, but how many of you guys over the last, say, 24 months have lost somebody you've loved? And, whether through COVID or a situation, and it's devastating. And to be able to have that support while you're going through that. I know me, I lost my dad in August, and I always tell my team, I don't know what I would do without him. I really, really don't. So Dawn, thank you so much for sharing that. I love that. Carol, why don't we have you share? You can kind of share a little bit about your blessing since you became a coach.
So I started coaching 2.5 years ago, and I do have a full-time job. I'm in biotech sales. And so I reached out to Rhonda. It'll be 3 years in April. I reached out. I was having issues with like a racing heart and couldn't figure out if I was having high blood pressure. I'm 56. So I reached out to Rhonda. I was 53 years old. And so I went to a doctor. Basically, the doctor told me I needed to lose 10 pounds to figure out if we could lower the blood pressure naturally before going on blood pressure meds. And if you know my history, I was a gymnast growing up, and so never have had a weight problem. No one's ever told me to lose weight. When this doctor told me to lose weight, I thought my head was going to explode because I didn't know what to do. And I'm like, I'm not fat. I don't need to lose weight. But honestly, that doctor telling me to lose the 10 pounds set me on this trajectory where I reached out to Rhonda that day that I got home, because I'd been watching her for about 6 months. And I started the shred of April of 2019. And within 3 months, I was already having an amazing transformation. And that's when I decided to start coaching. To the same reason, like Dawn was saying, I want to help somebody, but being in your 50s, a lot of ladies that are in their 50s are being told all the time by doctors that you're in menopause, your metabolism has slowed down. It is what it is, and this is kind of what you have to settle for, your body that you have now. And I love being an example that you don't have to accept those social norms that when you're in menopause, you're going to gain 10 or 20 pounds and life is over at that point. So I don't miss a workout. I don't miss my shake. I'm very disciplined in my day-to-day to show women that even if you're, 80% consistent, you're going to still have these amazing changes. And so it's been fun really reaching that target market of the menopause ladies, because I feel like I'm the grandma coach in the group, because I think I'm older than everyone in here. But the other, so it's been a blessing helping these ladies. I've got ladies in my group that are from 45 to 65 years old, having amazing transformations. And so when I talked to Rhonda originally, my goal, when she sat down and said, well, what's your goal? Coaching, what's your goal? And I thought, I had 2 kids in college, and if I could earn an extra $100 or $200 a month, that just gave them extra spending money for college. And because I'm a single mom as well. And I'm telling you, it was, and I pray over my business every day. And God has truly blessed me with just financial independence. But as a side gig, I was telling Rhonda, I this year in 2021, as a side gig, I made $20,000. And that was never expected, never on the radar. I wanted to get my shakes paid for and have some extra spending money for my kids in college. And again, Beachbody doesn't guarantee any income. It depends on the level of commitment to the coach, right? And how hard you're going to work. But I'm here to tell you, if you have that desire to help people, and truly it is a heartfelt desire, this business can be anything that you make it. and if you want to work hard and hustle hard, my goal is to retire from corporate America in the next 2 to 3 years and transition with my income from biotech sales into Beachbody full time. So that's my long-term goal, and that's what I'm hustling for. You can make this dream whatever you want. If you want to do it as just a side gig and have fun and surround yourself with positive women, you can do that, or you can work your butt off and and do this full time. And so anyway, so that's my backstory on this, and it's just been a joy just getting to know everyone. I feel like I've got a new set of best friends now that I never thought I would have at age 56. So
I love you shared that, Carol, the other day when I spoke to you by the phone. You were like, I truly love what I do. You're like, I have a blast like doing this. And I think like that's the thing that I love about so many of us is these women, a lot of times, they were already working out. They were already like, food prepping and doing some of the things. They were already on that journey and they just felt stuck. And like, I remember, Carol, when we originally first talked, it was like this emotional part of you of somebody being like, excuse me? Like, you want to put me on blood pressure medication? I need to lose weight. And I'm like super fit, right? And Carol, I believe you're down like 15 pounds, right?
Yeah, 15 pounds.
It's crazy. You went from fit to freaking shredded, right? And you're in your 50s. And that's the thing I love is like, you do this part-time and you love it and you make such an impact and you're so teachable and you've just learned all the things along the way. And it's so amazing to have you part of our family. I love you to death. You're like such an amazing lady.
I love being part of the group. Y'all are awesome.
Thank you, Carol, so much. Timbra, I would love to have you share. Timbra has the most amazing family transformation. And this is something that I feel like so many of us feel to the core. I don't know if any of you guys have, let me know if any of you guys feel this way, but like you want to start a journey, but you just pray to God that like your husband joins you, maybe your kids, like you're just like, I just wish I had that family support that did it. But it really does start with you, right? So Timbra, I would love for you to share a little bit of your story behind that and any obviously emotional and physical and then financial transformation that you have.
Okay. All right, you guys. I'm so honored. It's an honor and a privilege just to be able to talk about this with you all and just share a little bit, but just a tiny bit of a backstory. My husband and I both were in education. And if any of you are in education, there's a lot more months left after the money, right? And so we were really experiencing that month after month after month. My husband was a football coach, and those long hours were really hard on him, on his health. He gained a lot of weight. For those of you that don't know, in Texas, football coaches work 16 to 18 hours a day. They eat every meal in the field house and they just work, right? And so that was hard on him physically. Me pretty much being a single mom at home, working full time, I just had let my health go. So when I started, I was probably at my rock bottom. My husband wanted to be a football coach. We wanted to see our son through, who had hopes of scholarships. In his senior year, he had a career-ending knee injury that actually ended him with 3 knee surgeries, double knee surgery. So now I have a husband that's a football coach, never home, an 18-year-old son in a wheelchair who's a senior, and I'm trying to work full time. So to say that I let myself go emotionally, physically, spiritually, that is to say the least. And so I reached out to Rhonda at a time when I was pretty much, well, let me just tell you, I would set my timer for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, however long I was alone, and I would cry. And then when the timer went off, I was like, okay, get it together, put your face back on and get back out there, right? And so I had been going through this emotional roller coaster. And so I really started for the discount on the shakes, because I felt like, I don't know if you've ever felt like this on your journey, but like there's a secret that all the fit people know that I just didn't know yet, right? I'm married to a strength and conditioning coach. I'm married to a football coach, and I'm falling apart physically, right? And so is he. So all that to say, I started for the discount on the shakes. But one thing that I'd never done, and Rhonda, she taught me this from the very beginning, is personal development, and to tailor that personal development to my struggles. And so I did. And I knew that if I could change some small things in my life, that those habits would stack and maybe things would get better. So I started with the book, The Slight Edge. And I read that and my confidence grew. And I decided, you know what? I'm going to try to share this with other women. And every day in my prayer journal, it's amazing to go back and to read. I wrote to God, please let me make enough income that my husband doesn't have to football coach anymore. That I can make enough to cover his coaching stipend. Because another thing, if you're not from Texas, you don't realize that football coaches make pennies on the dollar, right? So his coaching stipend was not that much money. And so I thought, if I can cover that, then he doesn't have to go back out there, because the day our son got hurt was the day he lost his passion. And I went from sitting there watching a very passionate man coach football to standing there very stoic with no emotion, and our son's in a wheelchair beside him on the sidelines. So I wanted to just make enough to help him cover that coaching stipend. But a crazy thing happened when I completely went all in with every aspect, when I did everything everyone told me to do, when I took care of my heart first, my mind first, and I started showing up for myself. My husband joined me, and he was my first coach. I came home from the store or something, and he said, hey, do you have any coaches? And I'm like, no, I don't. And he kept saying, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I would know if somebody wanted to join me. But he had signed up, and he was my first coach. And so we decided to do it together. And then he jumped on board with personal development. And honestly, for me, like, we do have a huge family transformation, and I can share all that, but it was a transformation of our confidence. And really, we did what good kids did. We got married, we went to college, we were teachers, we did what we were supposed to do, only to live off of credit cards the last 2 weeks of the month because you can't make ends meet. And so I'll just skip forward all the details. I feel like I've given you too many details, but for me, I went back to graduate school and I had a new career. But through Beachbody, I know it's all connected, because it has to be connected when you make changes like that physically and emotionally. I started to dream bigger, and I started to realize that I too could do more. And so for me personally, I went after a job when I was 37 years old that I was not qualified for it. But by God, I walked into that interview with all the confidence, because I had already posted a before picture in my sports bra, and nothing was as scary as that, right? And so I go into this big interview, and I kept telling myself, and this is what I told myself a million times, just push post. Just do it. Just push post. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, push post. And I went in, and I was able to secure a job at 37 years old. That it's the very top of my career ladder at this point. And so when I did that, I know it was because I stepped out of my comfort zone day after day after day. And so when I did that, my husband came to me, and he was reading. I was gone to a conference in another state, and this was after I'd already accepted a new position. And he picked up The Slight Edge while I was gone, and he read it, and he called me, and he said, I'm going to walk away from coaching. And this is a 20-year career, right? Like, he'd been a football coach our whole married life, and he walked away. And it was because we grew that confidence and that faith in ourselves. And it started with just showing up for a workout every morning, like keeping that promise to ourselves and to each other. So now, like, total 180. He's a very creative, passionate person. And now he's a swimming pool designer for, I don't know if you ever watched Pool Kings on HGTV, but he designs pools for Pool Kings now. So he went from a football coach to a pool designer on a national worldwide stage.
Wow.
And so now we have continued to just grow. And so for me, I wish that I had enough time every time I get on my stories or every time I run into somebody to just let you guys know that everything's connected. Every little decision, you are literally one tiny decision away from totally changing your life if you let it. And they're all connected. You can't tell me that showing up for a workout every day because I said I would didn't grow my confidence enough to then I went for a job that I don't think I was ever qualified for. And now my husband has a new career. So yes, God answered those prayers and I just, every day I prayed, help me just put enough energy into this that he can walk away. And so as far as our physical transformation goes, I personally have lost 80 pounds. My son has lost 85 pounds when he had his knee injury. You know, if you've been around teenage boys, they have quite an appetite. So he would still say things like, as he's in his wheelchair, like, big skill, mama, I got to keep eating, you know, I got to get big. And I'm like, no, you don't, not anymore. So my son lost 85 pounds and then my husband has lost 65 pounds. So I could just go on and on, but that's life in a nutshell around here.
Tamra, that is so crazy. Like every time I see your family's transformation and I watch like how you guys have grown, how it's made your marriage stronger. It's literally changed your son's life. You've lost 80 pounds. And then I know too, like you were even saying like last month that you had one of the biggest financial like months you'd had. You were like, oh my gosh. So what are you able to share even on that side of it? Like just maybe like putting that in perspective of the freedom it's provided for your family, just in this one decision to get in the best shape of your life.
So for me financially, it's opened up so many doors. Just what I bring in on Beachbody is I'm able to pay for my daughter's car payment and my own car payment. And I bought both of us a new car. And I'm always consistently able to make both car payments by myself, which is kind of a big deal because for me, you work really hard and you guys, it's just not easy having teenagers. So I'm able to do that. We're able to travel all the time now. A lot of what we're able to do is because of Beachbody. This past year, we've gone skiing twice. I took my husband and my daughter to the beach. And that was all provided by Beachbody. All of the trips I've been able to do for my family, which is huge because we just couldn't do that as educators. You couldn't do that. And, he, as a coach, he didn't get summers off. I didn't get to go home to see my parents because he worked 7 days a week, every week of the year. And so financially, that's been the biggest blessings for us, is just to be able to have a little bit more fun and a little bit more wiggle room in our time. And I will tell you, financially, my goal is this year I want to pay off my car. I don't want to make the payments anymore. I just want to write a check. And so I'm just rat holing every little bit of Beachbody money. And then my other goal is when my daughter turns 18, I want to be able to let's rephrase that. I will open up a business center for her to help put her through college. And she will I want to leave her that legacy of health and business. I want her to be strong and I want her to be an entrepreneur.
Timber, your heart is so amazing. Like, you're going to make me cry. I love like how your whole family's in on this, and that's like the one thing, like how do you like put a price on that? Like you can't. And so like, you'll see us share like, oh, this family's lost 200 pounds. Like that's the least that they've gained.
Yeah.
Your life has changed forever because of one decision. And the crazy part is like, I think like we're so scared to make this one leap when really it comes down to you're never alone because you have a team doing the same thing with you. We're all growing together and working on our minds and our bodies, and we're lifting one another up on those good days and those bad days. And to be able to have that little freedom of like the things you've been able to do for your family, you can't put a price on that. Like being able to do the things you've been doing and have your husband home more with you, like that's insane. So I love your story. I love your passion. There is no doubt in my mind you're going to reach all those goals and then some. You were such a blessing. So thank you so much for sharing. In our private group, share your family's transformations. I wanted you to share those photos. I actually just came across them the other day. There was like a collage of, and I was actually trying to find the phone when you were talking, and I'm like, out of my 100,000 photos, I don't know, but it was a collage that one of you posted. It had 4 pictures of your son, not 2, but 4. And I'll try to find it. It is crazy. He was how old when he started?
He was 18. It was after his knee injury. And I'll tell you guys, if I wouldn't have done Beachbody, my son wouldn't be able to walk right now because his physical therapy was $300 a week. And I was able to help. But on top of that, he did Body Beast and built his legs back. And he is so incredibly strong. And, as far as the Beachbody community, every time I reached out to Sagi or anybody with his story, they responded and they helped us. And he's strong and he's whole, and he would not have been without
I love
that.
Because like when you share his photo, like he's this young man, he's super handsome young man that was overweight and just stuck and like physically injured and had gained this weight. And I think like sometimes we think like, oh, Beachbody's for, 30, 40, 50, whatever. I mean, we have from high school to, we have women on our team that are in their 70s, right? It's like, when is it ever too early or too late to do this? So Timber, thank you so much. Your family is like so amazing. There is no doubt in my mind that when your kids have kids, like y'all are going to be here. So thank you so much. I would love to have Miss Ashley F. If you want to mute your line and share a little of her story. I met Ashley on social media, and I'll let her kind of tell a little bit of the story, but it was so funny, you guys. One of the blessings when you become a coach is you meet so many people that are just like you. When you share you, you meet other people just like you. And so it's so great because when you join our team, like you never have to explain who you are. We all get it. Like we are all a mess, just trying to do the best we can and provide more freedom for our families. And so Ashley, go ahead and share. I'd love to hear you share your story. It's amazing.
Oh, I'm just like Beachbody is everything. Coaching is just, it is everything. And I had like kind of a unique opportunity to realize how extra special it was because I think I was 2 years into coaching. Maybe it was 3. I've done it for 5 years now. So maybe it was like 3 years in, but my Instagram, I don't really use Facebook except for our trainings and stuff, but I don't post on Facebook. So my Instagram was disabled for like a week. And this was like, I think I was at like 15,000 followers at that time. Now I'm at 25, I think. And I was like, it just one day I signed on and it just spazzed and it kicked me off. And then it was like, I already appreciated coaching and I already loved coaching, and coaching was already like, oh my God, my heart and my soul. But to not have that for a week, you guys, to not have my stories to show up on for a week, to not have posts that I could go on for a week, to not have messages to check of people that wanted help for a week, it shook me like I would die without being a Beachbody coach. I would just die. And that's how amazing it is and how life-changing it is. And so when I met Rhonda, I didn't follow her. It's always so funny because people always message, and when they message, they'll be like, I'm sorry, I hope this isn't creepy that I'm messaging you. And I'm like, well, with my coach, I said I didn't follow her. No. Didn't follow her, never commented or liked anything. I just watched and stalked her a lot and then reached out. She reached out to me. I chickened out. And then maybe like 4 or 5 months later, I finally was like, I'm so sorry. I totally flaked out the first time I messaged you. I'm actually ready this time. And I promise I'm not going to flake. And of course, she reached out again. And so I got started. And I had already been a little bit familiar with health and fitness, but I was working out like hours and hours and hours a day. I was eating more, I was eating less, and I was stuck. And I had gained weight after my 4th baby, couldn't lose it. I just didn't know what the hell I was doing. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I would like cry on the bathroom floor because I'm like, I can't lose weight. I can't get back into shape like I did the first time. I don't know what's going on. Like I have so much more to give. And I just felt like a lot was missing from my life as a stay-at-home mom. And that is amazing. And I'm so lucky that I was able to stay home. But my day was changing diapers, feeding babies, doing laundry, cleaning, changing diapers, making food, and then on repeat every day. And it was like depressing for me that I didn't have more to give in another way outside of the home. So anyways, found Rhonda, was obviously obsessed with her. And our first time meeting in person was Summit. And I wasn't going to go because I was brand new to coaching, but she's like, hey, come to Summit and we'll share a hotel room. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to go. Oh my God, I gotta go. I have to go. Oh my God. Couldn't afford it. Absolutely couldn't afford it. Couldn't afford the challenge pack in the first place. Had to put it on a credit card. Absolutely couldn't afford it. But I knew I had to do it. And I'm like, you know what? I already can't afford it. I'm going to commit to a year. Already can't afford it anyways. Already hurting financially anyways. What's this going to do for the next 12 months? Whatever. And then couldn't afford to really do that. But I was like, I have to go. My coach asked me to go. And then we're going to go to like a success club party. And anyways, it like changed my life. Meeting Rhonda in person. She is my person. She is my people. And we just were like sisters. I was like, she's even more amazing in person. Unbelievable. Yeah. So anyways, then obviously it's changed my life. I committed to a year. I'm like, I'm going to have no excuses, no BS for a year. I'm committing to 1 year. That way I can't be like, oh, why am I not signing anyone? Oh, this is a hard month. Oh, and I cried a lot the first year. I promise you that. But I committed to a year. So it's either I can cry and whine about not signing enough people, not helping enough people, or I'm just going to hustle my ass off because I committed to a year. And that allowed me to just remove the excuses so that I wasn't like, oh, well, maybe I should quit, all this, all that. So I always tell my girls, commit to a year, no BS, commit to a year, put your heart and soul into it, and then reassess when you're there. And of course I was helping people a year in. So I was like, okay, I'm doing this. Now 5 years in, it's totally changed my life. first and foremost, huge thing I will tell you is like, I was a stay-at-home mom before, trying to keep it short so I don't talk too much, but if I did not, being in a horrible marriage, if I did not have coaching and the confidence and the financial ability to say, you know what, I can do this, like I can do this, I can do this. Who knows what the situation would be. It gave me the confidence and the strength and the financial ability to get the hell out of a bad marriage and get a divorce without being scared, without being afraid. I just knew everything would be okay. If I had no job, there's no guarantee he would have to pay anything. And it's scary to know, like, you've got 4 kids, one moved out, and to not know, like, financially, that's enough to keep you in a bad marriage because you don't know what you're going to do. So it's like Beachbody gave me the freedom, and I don't even share a ton about that, but it gave me the freedom to be strong enough and brave enough to get the heck out and be done with it. But on top of that, you know, I remember the first time, like, this is a good example of like all these little things that are so huge, but people can really relate to, because everybody has money problems. No matter where you're at, you have money problems. And I've been at the bottom. And I remember like years ago, maybe 3 years ago, when I could go to Target, I still use my red card to get the 5% discount, and I still use coupons, but I spent like $800 on clothes for the 3 boys plus Madison. So it was still a steal. That's all school shopping for 4 kids. That's a killer deal. But it was on the debit card. It was not put on a credit card. Everything was put on a credit card before. School pictures, credit card. Football pictures, credit card. Everything's credit card, because there was not enough money in the checking account for that. There was not enough cash to back any of that up. So to be able to go and buy $800 worth of clothes and just like put it on the debit card was insane. I was like, this is insane to be able to do that. To be able to buy fun stuff for myself when I want it, like to be able to go on Amazon and buy myself workout leggings, to be able to go buy a new pair of shoes, to be able to go buy necklaces when I want. It's all these little things that don't cost a lot, but you know, if you're struggling for money, you cannot spend an extra $20 because you can't. And to be able to do that for yourself and kind of just reward yourself is something so special when you've gone so many years not being able to buy anything for yourself, not being able to splurge on anything, not doing birthday presents, not doing Christmas presents only for the kids because you can't afford it. These little things are magical. Taking the kids anywhere I want now, taking them to Big Al's where you got to pay to play the games, you got to pay to do this, you got to pay to eat, be able to go out to eat whenever we want, to get my nails done. I didn't start getting my nails done until like 3 years ago. You know, buying all the Christmas presents and being able to spoil our kids with Christmas presents. We have a boat, we have a trailer to go camping. So all these things, big and small, change your life. And it honestly, like Jake says, he's like, you work your butt off and you commit to this, there is no way that you can't go next level with this business. It's a matter of time and consistency. There is no way that you cannot excel and do amazing things in this business. You gotta be willing to put the hustle in, put the hard work in, but I love it and I would die without it. So it's not even work. I have to stop myself from working, but
it's so great to like just hear. It's so funny. I think so many of us can relate as moms. Like we just want to be able to like buy a pair of shoes or be able to do something for ourselves and not be like, hey babe, hey, can I, you know, I know I'm taking away from the family. Or I remember when I first became a coach, the second thing I wanted to get was a pair of shoes. And I remember my husband at the time was like, yeah, you're going to have to wait 3 months for that. Now, these were the cute little colored ASIC shoes that were $80 and now they're like $150. And the answer was no. And that pissed me off. I was like, I want to be able to buy the pair of shoes and not be told no because my feet hurt and I need new workout shoes because mine are over a year old. And I know, Ashley, you've also lost 60 pounds with that one decision. And like, it's so to watch the confidence in the women that you become through all of this is stupid crazy. I love watching it. I'm so proud of you. And it's so neat to watch everybody's faces change. They light a room up. And there's like that before photo you take, and there's that during photo you take, and that's still working on your photo. And then you go, wow, I just lost 60 pounds. And I feel amazing. And my goal is to maybe help one person to feel half as good as I feel. And that's what's so crazy is like, I don't think any of us really went into this like, I want to like, make this huge income. But I mean, many of you guys know I do this full time. When I say full time, I work 5-6 hours a day. Like I do this full time. Like I have very few coaches that do, but like to be able to, I pay for everything myself. And I don't say that like I was bankrupt and broke and thought I couldn't even afford a gallon of milk at the grocery store when I first started. I remember going to the grocery store and telling my kids I couldn't buy an avocado because they were up to $1 each. Like that's where so many of us started. And I love, and this sounds silly, and I was even telling Joe the other day, I can go to the grocery store and I don't care how much this avocado is. I freaking want it and I need it. I mean, to tell my kids no, they can't have an avocado, that's when you know it's bad, right? So Ashley, thank you so much for sharing. I think it's like people don't get to hear these things, and I think they're so relatable. And again, Beachbody does not guarantee level of success. Success is based off the individual, but like these little stories are the big stories. They're the ones that are life-changing. I think sometimes when you see people say they pay for a home or a car, that's almost like hoopla, like how do I understand that? But when you hear these stories, how people's lives are changed. Jamie, before you jumped on, I had kind of told your story about when you first started, how you started and just want to get in the best shape of your life, and and to be able to come on a call and you're like, I want to live. I no longer think about dying. Like, how do you even talk about that? And that makes sense to anybody. And so this is who we get to surround ourselves around. And during COVID, I cannot even imagine where I would be without every single one of you guys. I am so incredibly grateful for every single one of you guys. We have time for probably only one more because I want to keep the call kind of around the 30 minutes, although it'll be going at 45. Who else would like to share one just emotional or transformation that hasn't already been shared? I know we've got many people on the call that have such great ones, but anybody would like to unmute their line and share? Yes, Cynthia, please. Would love to have you share, honey.
Hi,
Hey, girlfriend, how are you?
I am good.
Okay, you got to tell your story because it's dumb. It's amazing.
Yes. So I started my journey with Beachbody last summer in July. I am a first-time mom, and my daughter, she was born with a congenital heart defect. So she ended up needing a heart transplant. So she had a heart transplant last March. It was hard after the transplant. So basically, I lived at the hospital for like 6 months with her. And so moving back home and transitioning from, the hospital and all that, I was not in my best shape. I had just had her, and just all the emotions and, the grieving process, because it was still just grieving my first baby and going through all of this. So coming home and adjusting to therapies, all these doctor's appointments, I quit my job. I had to. She requires a lot of special cares, and she doesn't even feed by mouth. She feeds through a tube, and it runs for like over an hour. So it's just a lot. But I signed up to become a Beachbody coach for myself because I wanted to be held accountable. And I wanted to change my attitude. I needed more energy. My daughter needs me. So I started, being more consistent with my shakes, and, started a program. I started Lift, and my body started changing, and I was like, okay, I like this. My confidence started coming back. Before my daughter, I was like this career woman. I'm an interior designer. I got this. Like, I'm so great. But then life, hit me hard, and I really grew up a lot, and it changed a lot of my thinking, and my faith increased. So this was also a good way for me to share my testimony and share the gospel too to other women that are just, going through hardships, because if God could provide a heart for my baby, he can do the same for you. So anything that you're going through, oh my goodness, there's nothing impossible for God, nothing. And for y'all to really understand that he's in control of everything, and everything is so intentional. So there's nothing that's just, just because, or a coincidence. There's no coincidences. Like, it's real, it's intentional. God has a plan and a purpose for every single one of you. And I'm just loving it. I started losing weight, and I've lost 18 pounds.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited, and lots of inches. And I'm getting stronger. My goal this year is to continue to get stronger and lift heavier. I have personal goals too for my daughter. She's delayed in her development. So just continuing those therapies and taking it day by day. I'm not worrying about tomorrow. I don't care what the doctors say, because honestly, they're not God. So if somebody comes at you with something negative, just one ear out the other and rebuke it, because they're not God. So God always has a final word. And I'm super excited. I'm new at becoming a coach, so I'm still learning. And of course, there's times where I'm like, man, I got rejected. Dang it. It's okay. I'll try again. I'll try again. And I'm learning and trying to be more consistent. But I do love helping others. I feel like that is my purpose. God wants me to share my testimony. And I think this is a great way to spread the gospel and spread his word. So I'm so thankful.
Yeah. You are such a joy, and you have the biggest heart, and your story is like the biggest testimony. And I absolutely am so inspired by it every single day. And I think about you guys, like one of the things like I want to kind of finish this call with is, when you become a coach, what if you get in the best shape of your life? What if you inspire one person to get out of bed? What if you're not perfect at first, but you can grow and learn and achieve? What if that one decision changes your life the way one of these women is talking about today? I know when I started my journey, when I first started, I literally was on anxiety medicine. I couldn't get out of bed when my eyelids opened. I couldn't wait for them to shut. And when I became a coach, my biggest gift, and I will never forget it, was the joy that I felt when I woke up, because there were other people on the other side on that same journey with me. And that I helped one person that felt just like me to feel different. That's crazy. And I think like sometimes it's like, how do you wrap your head around that, right? And we are so blessed to have every single one of these ladies that took a leap of faith on themselves, that decided to take a chance because they were sick and tired of trying the same thing. Like Ashley shared, she's like, I kept doing, oh my God, Timbra, you set a timer till you cried. And then you got up, I'm like, I'm never going to forget you just shared that. Oh my God, I cried every day because I was miserable in every area of my life. And nobody talks about these things, because you know why? We get up and we still do our things, but then every single day we're miserable. What if you had a family that dreamed like you never thought possible? One of the things I hear, and I remember this when I first became a coach, dreaming were for other people. Dreaming wasn't for me. I didn't know what that was. I didn't know how to dream. I didn't know how to set goals. All of you guys tonight are talking about the goals you set because our team teaches you to do that. The world flips through social media and looks through their dream through other people's posts. And they don't know how to set those goals and those dreams, those expectations. And that's something that we offer you, is a lifetime of setting goals and dreams and never quitting on creating the best version of you, because God promised you all of it. We do, of course, have a lot of people on our team that are faith-based, but not everybody is. We're all individuals that just want that one desire to be better than the next. to be able to show those people that if you could do it, you know anybody else can. We're no more different or special than any of you guys. The only thing that's different is that we actually started. So I want to thank all of you guys for being a part of this. I think Jamie says the goals of a picture of your ideal future habits are while we help you get there. And I think like that's the one thing, like, how do you explain on social media sometimes that we don't just get you in the best shape of your life, but we teach you how to dream. We help you with finances to be able to dream and have some of those things that you never thought possible. We help you to have that confidence to show up as you go through the journey, because there is nothing inspiring about your after photo. The inspiring part happens during the pages that you write, the struggles you overcome, the battles that you become stronger through. And for those things that are hard to share, we teach you how to do that, so you're never alone. So you guys, thank you so much for all of your amazing stories. I am so grateful for every single one of you guys, that we all get to do this together, and feel free to share this with anybody. I want our team to just grow with women that literally are never finished. They're like, I want to grow. I want to impact, no matter what your goal is. You want to help one person? Awesome. You want to help 200 people? Awesome. Every single one of us matters. And maybe what if you just get in the best shape of your life and your family is changed as well, like Timber's was from that one decision. Okay, you guys, have an amazing night. Thank you so much for taking time out of your night. We're going to all week in the group be sharing transformations, answering your questions, going live, sharing bits and pieces of our world so that you guys can see the full picture of what that one decision is. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.